Hi, listener. Here at Let's Talk Bitcoin, we're building a global network of correspondents able to contribute on-the-ground perspective when cryptocurrency-related information comes across their filters. If you'd like to join our global conversation, send an email with your name and geographic or cultural niche to apply@letstalkbitcoin.com. Just like Bitcoin, the only barrier to entry is your time and good work. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. I'm happy to take questions.
I really enjoyed the presentation.
Thanks.
The dark wallet was crowdfunded. What do you think would be the best way to crowdfund dark market?
Well, I don't know. And again, Amir would tell you that dark market was just a pure proof of concept, so it's not production ready. It's amazing what he was able to show these gentlemen. Google this, find this if you can. I'll get Amir to get a production site up, and maybe we'll do a video on DD, but I think that since the code is already publicly available, it's all right for people to kind of make something more stable and just throw it out there. And I don't think we necessarily need to crowdfund. Maybe we should. I feel like I can right now. We just crowdfunded Dark Wallet maybe 6 months ago. We got a nice amount of money, and even though Bitcoin's falling a bit in price, we capitalized well. And I feel like I can't ask for money until we really develop Dark Wallet in an alpha and then a beta that you can enjoy and see as a kind of proof of your generosity, assuming you collected that funded the Dark Wallet. So I recommend that anyone try. But what's interesting is that this is almost kind of like Athena or something kind of already fully formed and out there. It's just up to intrepid people to give it something like a stable release. If we don't see something like that coming, I'm happy to back it myself with, I don't know, credit cards. I hope we find someone willing to kind of take the helm here. If you guys go to unsystem.net, I recommend you get on the unsystem mailing list, which is just a kind of crypto mailing list, but everyone's very excited about this, right? I mean, the wheels are turning. I mean, everyone's talking about the stock market. It had been thought for a while that there would be like an open transactions version of this that was kind of soon to come, but kind of here's the problem with the possible, right? It's not possible until it's already here, and then so we're like stuck with this idea. Oh my God, it's already here. Jesus, the future is now. So it's amazing. I recommend you check it out. I guess that was my answer to your question.
It was. Thank you.
For the newbies, distinguish between CryptoKit and Dark Wallet, and what have you threatened CryptoKit with that they're stuck on just one extension for one browser?
Well, I think Anthony here. I think Anthony thinks we're somehow Dark Wallet's a competitor to CryptoKit. I mean, I don't think we really are. So here's the thing. Back when we crowdfunded Dark Wallet, mercifully, thankfully, there wasn't Bitcoin really in the browser. It had been a kind of suggestion. The CryptoKit wasn't out, and neither was Spare Coins and these other things. So we were able to crowdfund on this. If we were like a month later, we wouldn't have been able to. It already exists. It's called CryptoKit. The thing is, that's run as a business, basically, or operated by a business. You can think of it as a service, maybe. And it would never fly in the United States with the native coin join that we'd like to do on it, which is, of course, let's say that it's a form of money laundering. Which should come standard, we think, coreware. You should be able to play around with native coin join in your browser becoming Bitcoin. I believe the only kind of critical difference between a Dark Wallet and CryptoKit is that CryptoKit doesn't offer native coin join. That's not me accusing it of kind of whatever, thermidor. I'm just saying that it's interested in giving you Bitcoin easily as a layer of your web experience, helping you do things like encrypt your traffic, manage your currency easily. I mean, it's one of the best ways of doing PGP. PGP is kind of clumsy still. CryptoKit is actually done very well, like importing and exporting keys. And I think it's a beautiful thing and kind of proof that space is right for development. That space, I mean, Bitcoin in the browser. But Dark Wallet is, at its heart, purely open source, not run as a business or a service. And basically it has to be that way because any other kind of way of trying to run it, especially trying to monetize it, makes us vulnerable to state interdiction. And of course, we'd have to spend our time in cages, and I'd have to Skype it, like Charlie Shrimp or something, robot Cody Wilson on stage or something. CoinJoin is CoinJoin is how we talk about manipulating Bitcoin transactions, mixing inputs and outputs, and it's kind of like, you've heard of Bitcoin mixing before? It's basically like a way of maybe mixing, like kind of obfuscating identities and inputs, and the way we do this coin join, the way that it's still being done, you see a transaction, but it's basically a total fudge about what happened in that transaction. It still enters the blockchain, but you've confused what the inputs and outputs were, basically. That's the best way I can say it. I'm certainly not technical enough to, if Amir was here, he would probably make it more complicated.
sorry, we're running out of time. One more question.
Sorry.
Yeah, so sort of big picture question in terms of how do you get people on both an individual level as well as the underlying pipeline level to get to this idea that everything should be encrypted, everything should be secure by default, so that way the act of, let's say, sending a PGP encrypted message isn't itself an invitation to be suspected of something, right? So if we communicate securely and everyone's communicating securely, then that becomes the default. How do you get people to that level that they would actually want that, not only want it on an individual level, but be willing to build it into their products?
Okay, great question. Everywhere, and this is going to like render me an optimist or something, and I'm not, but everywhere except in the United Kingdom, there's been a certain sea change in public opinion, I guess at least in the West, about privacy as a default, a kind of condition. Or at least something of a general terror about the idea. Oh, right, there is no such thing, and I really should have some. So there's been a kind of cottage privacy industry pop back up after Mr. Edward Snowden did the Lord's word. And it was great, if you weren't aware of it before, like Cryptome and all these people in the 90s, right, the due diligence carriers of all things awful in NSA, they had been kind of reminding us, by the way, you live in a totally unfree kind of situation. But Snowden at least delivered that to us in such a potent way, and we should thank Barr, and we should thank Lincoln Greenwald. But I think actually that there is a real appetite now for privacy as a default position, kind of built into the core of our applications and our web experience, and that a lot of companies are responding to this. And now it's like a soothsayer or some kind of like Pollyanna about the efforts of Google and Yahoo and these people. No, of course they're total traitors to you and they're buying and selling you, chewing you, and reaching you. But I've been really excited to see projects like Himless. I think Dark Wallet, where we had a very kind of off-the-cuff, ad hoc crowdfunding strategy. We raised $100 million, right? I think really it comes down to someone kind of declaring their will to give you that kind of privacy in a package. And everyone who's done that so far, at least coherently, has been rewarded and monetarily, by a project, by a chance to give that into the market. So people want it, I think. And wanting it is like that demand is almost the entire battle. So while people are conscious and demand it, we should give them great software, and I think it's happening right now. Now, in the crypto wars, there was this huge fascination with BGP. I met Sheldon Richman the other day. He lives in Arkansas. It's crazy. I go to Arkansas, I meet like Sheldon Richman, all these other great new left anti-war people. He was saying, yeah, I used to use BGP, but this was the story. I stopped, and then something like Web 2.0 happened, and big data happened, and it wasn't important anymore. But it's important again. And while it's important again, it's going to have to be people like you, man, developing just neat software for people that just takes care of them by default, because we need it that way. We're not going to take those extra steps. It has to kind of be built for us. But it seems to be happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cody Wilson,
come talk to me, man.
Well, Satoshi Nakamoto, that's a name I love to say. And we don't know much about him, but he came to save the day. When he wrote about the way things are and the way things ought to be, he gave us all a protocol this world had never seen. Oh, Bitcoin, as you're going into the old blockchain. Oh, Bitcoin, I know you're going to rain, till everybody knows, till everybody knows your name. Down the road it will be told about the death of old Mt. Gox, about traders trading altar coins and miners mining blocks. But them good old boys back in Illinois and on down through Tennessee, see, they don't care to be a millionaire, they're just wanting to be free. Oh, Bitcoin, as you're going into the old blockchain. Oh, Bitcoin, I know you're going to rain, till everybody knows, till everybody knows your name. Halls of Parliament, while the bankers count our money out for every government. Oh, Bitcoin flies on through the skies of virtuality, a promise to deliver us from age-old tyranny. Oh, Bitcoin, as Tapping into the old blockchain. Oh, Bitcoin, I know you're going to rain, till everybody knows, till everybody knows your name. Till everybody knows, till everybody knows your. Give me some exposure. Everybody knows your name. Sing it. Oh Lord, pass me some more. Oh Lord, before I have to go. Oh Lord, pass me some more. Oh Lord, before I have to go.
Amir, the first time I saw you speak was, I think it was on BBC. You were wearing what looked like a school uniform, and your hair was nicely groomed. What changed?
Nothing. I run many businesses in my life, and yeah.
Nothing. Well, I mean, so we've talked a couple of times over the last few days, and one of the things that you've said a few times is you've told me a story about your friend who makes marmalade from expired food, basically. And the thing that I keep wanting to ask you, and I haven't had a chance yet, is there any circumstance under which you think that it's good to have government regulations, or it's good to have standards and regulations that restrict people from doing things, or is it just across the board no?
I'm not thinking that we should, nuke the planet, go back to living in caves, destroy everything that we've built and come towards. But certainly we can put our minds together and think how we would like things to be and find a way that we can move in that direction.
When I look at the work that you've done with Bitcoin and a variety of the other projects, Dark Wallet's another example, it's obvious that you have an ideological take on this, and that the purity of that ideology is very important to you. So can you kind of articulate why it is that you live the life that you do and do the work that you do?
As technologists, our job is to build tools for people to use. And we now find ourselves in an empowering position because of the legacy left to us by many people over history who built the technology with a certain set of ethics and morals in mind. And as someone with a huge amount of skill, you have a responsibility to carry that legacy onwards. There's a revolution in our time, perhaps as important as the invention of DNA itself. The potential for a global consciousness is emerging with a nervous system that spans the entire globe. The internet is something that really has a lot of potential to change the way that we assemble as human beings, the way that we do things. And I spend a lot of time since I was very young living in different communities, in different squats and places, and see the people who try to find other ways that they can live better and change the situation around them, and observe what are the issues or problems that they have, and think that in my work how I can build better tools to serve those people to be able to better construct something that can allow us to thrive as free people.
So you've spent a lot of time at Califo, which is sort of a post-capitalistic sort of...
Well, they call it a techno-industrial eco-village.
A techno-industrial.
And Califo is very interesting because I've seen a lot of different eco-villages and so on. And one of the things that they're doing with Califo is investing energy and resources into technology and industry with a proper economic model behind it. When you see some of the squats, sometimes, especially like in London, the people is moving a lot, like from week to week in different places. And when you're in a place where you're not going to be a long time, you're less inclined to invest your time and your energy to build something nice. And when you only think you're going to be there a few days, you might not like keep the place clean, you know. People even become destructive. A lot of tensions between the people arise. But when people are in a place where they know that they have the opportunity of that place, that they can make something, that people really become constructive, especially when you give the opportunity for people to pursue their own visions or their dreams. And the difference is between a guy, you know, like when the people used to get slaves and you know, tell the slaves, you know, pick the cotton, and you really can't get them to do anything much more complex than picking cotton. And the only way that you can scale up or improve it is to double the amount of people doing that manual labour. And it's the same thing really with the incentive structures where you have employees working on something. But if people do the projects, but it's the project that they want to do and it's their passion, they do it with a lot more creativity and a lot more drive, and the money goes a lot further. We see this in all the open source projects. And with Calafo, they think to get a place that they find a way that they can buy this land, like a massive piece of land with many different buildings all around, and reconstruct an old industrial complex with diversity of use of the space. That you have hackers, you have a biolab, mechanics, people doing wood and metal. There's an enterprise that makes furniture, people with agriculture, all different people, and really thinking about the things. And with the technology, so my friends go and they occupy a big forest, like 1 hour from outside London, and the people there start to construct houses, nice houses. Like there's like log cabins with the wooden planks on the floor and the walls and everything. There's like some girl who built this like house with 2 floors and a balcony, like all by herself, and you really start to think like, you know, like you give a few basic things to these people, like industrial tools, that they can have the bricks, and they will build really nice houses. Or the technological tools, like in the winter, it's very cold outside, and it's a lot of hard work, like to pick the firewood and do all the things, and it's very muddy outside, and it's a big space, so a lot of people aren't trekking to the other side to go and talk to the people, and it's very difficult for a community to self-organize together and be self-managed. But you put internet in all the houses, and the people can have a room, a chat room, and coordinate through IRC or forums, and suddenly the things can work a lot better. Or basic infrastructure like gas that people can use to cook and make meals. Even just thinking economically about how we do the things to do them smarter. Like in Calafo, there's like a kitchen, and anytime you want, you can go and cook some food, and there's the ingredients there and make something. But I notice in the Scots, sometimes people are like buying these snacks, and you buy these snacks, and they're more expensive. When you eat them, you're always hungry, you know, and it's crappy food. It's not really giving you energy or anything. But if you buy the basics, like the potatoes and the rice and those things, you can and you cook proper meals, then, like for instance in Calafo, everybody tries to cook a meal at least once a week, and with 2 or 3 other people. And if everybody in the community does that, then you can have a warm meal 3 times a day and eat better, you know, and live better. And just thinking about how you do these things, there's a lot of different things that we can see how we can do together to make the things better, and to like live in a place where you have sovereignty, you own something. A lot of the times, like going through our life where we're renting and working for years and years with a mortgage, and at the end a lot of people have nothing, you know, they're living off credit, off debt, and that's not a way to live. But like for instance with the open source ecology is a project to construct the 40 basic machines that you need to make a self-sustainable town or village, but in such a way that these machines are easy to build, DIY, low cost, and with each of the parts modular. So if you have the industrial base, you can reuse the parts in different machines. So the things like the brick press or the tractor or the trencher, things that save on labour, like it's not the same as 100 years ago. We have the technology and the tools now that we can live better and localise and connect also more closely our consumption with our production. We have now optimised our production so much. The real cost is in the distribution of a lot of the things. And we've moved production to these centralized nodes. Now, one of the biggest, I think one of the biggest changes in the market was around the 70s when they started to sell different kinds of tomato soup, and they did well before. The people used to do the studies and say, okay, how much sugar should we put, how much salt, like what consistency should we make it, and then getting like the averages and making like the single product the best tomato soup for the market. But then like some physicist came along and he actually proposed to we should make different kinds of tomato soup. Some people like it lumpy, some people like it spicy, and all different, customized for each people. And that's part of the revolution with 3D printing, that we can actually build the things for ourselves as we need them ourselves, better serving us. And that's the same thing with the production and the consumption. Move the things locally, use the tools that we can better connect the consumption with the production, and also not only the things can be better, that you're eating better, that you're consuming local produce that is made by local farmers, but also we're more aware of the hidden costs in our consumption, because there's a lot of things, the way that we're living or the way that we're doing things now, that is on a trajectory that isn't really sustainable, that is causing massive amounts of unseen damage, and the effect on our lives is not very good. Like we look to someone and we yearn for someone who will care for us, who will forgive us of our childish mistakes. And the reality is that we are the custodians of life's meaning. We search for a purpose, but we make our own purpose.